Unexpected for you. I knew that it was coming, and so therefore I can't say it was unexpected for me. But I'm so happy to be here joining you. So many of you have reached out to me and sent your warm wishes and all of those things, and I can't tell you how much I appreciate everything that. Man, I really am blind. I appreciate how much everything that you all have done, all the kind messages that you sent, the super chats and the PayPal donations, and all of those things. If you didn't know, as a result of what happened in Pearl, Mississippi, they had a bond of $20,000 that was put on me for the trespassing. The trespassing $20,000 bond. And so that ended up costing. I got a deal, a deal from the bondsman because they didn't feel like I would flee, and it's cost me $1,600 just to bond out of that stuff in Pearl. So it's going to be a long fight. There's going to be a lot to do for all of you. I've seen your comments on the Pearl, Mississippi police page, folks. For a misdemeanor, I was charged with a $20,000 bond. That is, I've practiced law for 15 years and represented a lot of people in criminal courts, and misdemeanors and $20,000 bonds, like that doesn't go hand in hand. Misdemeanors and bonds over $2,500 don't really go hand in hand. This bond was $20,000 in Pearl, Mississippi. That's what it was, for trespassing. That's what I was ultimately charged with, was trespassing. And you're going to get to see that whole video. But yeah, $1,600 plus the medical bills. Now, I wanted to make a point to say this. I am never, ever, ever asking for anybody to feel sorry for me or bad for me because I got roughed up by a cop, or I am having a heart issue because the cops have done something to me that caused me to have a heart issue. I walk into what I do knowing of the potential risks and repercussions. I get it. Doesn't mean I'm going to like that it's happened. Doesn't mean that I'm not going to complain about it happening. But I'm not asking for anybody to feel sorry for me ever. I choose to do what it is I am doing, and I choose to do it to give back. I finally have decided what it is, to give back for the things that my grandparents did for me, to give me a voice when I didn't have one, and to fight for people and for ideals that other people are too afraid to fight for. I don't ever want you to feel sorry for me. Now, do I need your help? Absolutely. I need your help all the daggum time. And, you know, do I appreciate your support and all of those things? I need it. Do your funds from PayPal and Super Chats help immensely in all of this? They do. And when I talk about the fact that I'm going broke in the process of doing all this, I'm not asking for sympathy there either. I'm having the best life doing what I believe in with my son. You couldn't, I couldn't have painted a bet. Like, he's never going to engage in the practice of law ever, and I would do anything to do more with him. And this is just it, and I love it, and I'm just living my best life. So I just wanted to make that clear, that I'm never, despite what some people say, I'm not. Please don't feel sorry for me. Even like, I mean, look, feel sorry for maybe my family, and I mean, you know, again, sympathy for chest pain and all that stuff. Yeah, I choose to do what I do, but I also don't choose to have these negative interactions with the cops by, you know, them going hands on. That's never necessary. Everything that we've ever dealt with, think about it this way: what have we ever dealt with that they couldn't have handed me a piece of paper? And we dealt with it that way. What is it that required them to put me in cuffs and deprive me of liberty to go to a place to do, you know, to be in a cell, to give them money? What is it that's ever required that? Nothing. It's a power trip on the behalf of the government. And so I wanted to talk about Pearl for a second, and why I've been radio. Let's talk about, first of all, why have I been radio silent? Why has Ron been so daggone quiet? What's going on with Ron? I'm sorry that any of you thought that something was wrong with me. That's not the case. I made a commitment to myself and my wife that when I got back from Lexington, Mississippi this last time, that I would finally do what I just have been procrastinating and don't really want to do, which is fight for my law license. I again, as I've made very, very clear, the practice of law and dealing and working with the scumbags that are involved in the corruption that's in Oklahoma, it's not for me. I want to destroy that system, and they seem to want to preserve it. And but the fact of the matter is, I earned the daggum thing. I worked my butt off to get it. I graduated, order of barristers from law school, did really, really well in law school, University of Tulsa, and I daggum earned the right to have my license, and my speech doesn't mean that I should lose it. So I promised my wife that I would finally sit down and draft the lawsuit against the Oklahoma Bar Association and against those members of the Bar Association who have made it their personal vendetta to deprive me of free speech and to engage in tortious interference with my contractual relations with other attorneys and all these other things. It's finally time to hold them accountable. So what I've been doing, and again, if you know me, I write really fast and research really fast. So, by the way, yesterday was my birthday, so I didn't do anything yesterday. Yesterday was my birthday. I didn't do a daggum thing yesterday, other than just have the absolute best birthday, being here with the family, doing nothing. I am unemployed because the Bar Association suspended me, so I don't have like a real job. I have this YouTube thing, and it ain't a real paycheck. Maybe one day, but I had an amazing day. I got this wonderful hat. This is one of my birthday gifts. This LSU hat. I didn't go to LSU, but I grew up as an LSU nut because my grandfather, who was the most amazing human being I've ever known in my life, was a huge LSU fan, and I always had to listen to him talking about Saban and all the rest, and I loved it, and I grew up an LSU fan. So anyway, yesterday I enjoyed that, and then Lee cooked steaks, and Mary Jo cooked, my mother-in-law cooked potatoes and mushrooms and onions, and so I had a steak and potato dinner cooked at home, which is what I wanted, and it was beautiful. So that's what I was doing yesterday, but the days before, and today, I have spent about 30 hours total work time drafting, and for me that's a lot of time on one project. Like that's a lot of time for me on one project. I write well, I research well, and here's where we're at. We've got it's rough, and stuff, but that one is the complaint against the Oklahoma Bar Association. It's not done. It is not done. That is the lawsuit that I'm filing against the Oklahoma Bar Association, the Oklahoma Supreme Court, and others who I don't want to mention here because they watch. It lays it all out in its current form, and there's a lot of stuff that's still single-spaced that I need to double space, and a whole lot more I need to add. We are at 86 pages, 22,569 words. That's the complaint in federal court, petition in state courts. So that's where we're at with that. Then I've been working on this motion for injunctive relief, which I'm going to file simultaneous with the petition. And if you see over there at the bottom, you can kind of see how many pages it one is. This one is well, I'm at 45 pages on that brief. Now, let me just tell you, the Western District of Oklahoma's court rules say that my brief can only be 25 pages. It's 45 pages right now. And it's going to be longer because there's so many daggum arguments in the number of ways that they have violated my civil rights. This writing, is my magnum opus, my grand finale writing masterpiece in my career. And it seeks to completely dismantle the mandatory requirements of the Oklahoma Bar Association. So this is going to be filed in the Western District of Oklahoma. It's going to be filed there in the next, it'll be filed next week. I got to get it done. I'm hoping to take Chloe camping Saturday, so I really got the rest of tonight and tomorrow to try to finish this. That's a lot. So it might be mid next week, but I'm gonna get it filed next week. And they're trying to start my they give me from the time they amended the last stuff to tell me what they're charging me with. They've tried to force me to try this case within 30 days. Can't even get discovery. Everybody's fighting. It's all me starting to serve the subpoenas. Everybody's fighting the subpoenas, and yet the bar association wants the trial to start November like the 3rd or something. So I'll get this filed next week. It's utterly ridiculous what they've done to me, what they're doing to me, and my specific purpose, I want to make very clear, is to destroy the Oklahoma Bar Association, undo the suspension of my license, and resign. That's what I want to do. So just so we're clear, I'm doing this all for the specific purpose of getting unsuspended so I can resign. Yeah. I'm also asking for a boatload of freaking money. A boatload of money. We're gonna be going all the way on this. Millions upon millions of dollars. Never settle this case, absent it being in excess of multiple millions of dollars. So this is the Bar Association I'm talking about for Oklahoma. Now, that's enough of that. So that's 100. We're essentially at total drafted in 30 something hours, 120 pages. It's insanity. But that's it is what it is. So, all right, let's talk about Pearl, Mississippi. And I put my notes up and I shouldn't have. So, Pearl, Mississippi, I'm charged with trespassing. And the trespassing charge got a $20,000 bond. Now, the video will be out soon, but before we get into that, if you've not watched today's video, we released on Drunk Judge Sharon Holmes. Go watch the Drunk Judge Sharon Holmes video. Let me know and please let me know now. Let me ask you this. We're going to go into a lot of things, but comment now. I'm reading the comments. The last two videos have been sort of an interview cut into the video explanation, adding in news stories. If you've noticed, the last two videos are much more in the style of the Carl video, the police guy and the peanut butter story. If you've watched those videos, what do you think of that format of the narrative storytelling cut in with the video to explain it? What do you think? I think that we're doing it better than anybody else that I've seen in sort of this area of sort of telling the story when we do it this way. I mean, we've missed the mark in a lot of daggum videos, but I think we're on the right track with this. What do y'all think? In all seriousness, or don't like about it? What do you like versus don't like about it? Somebody says just post stuff. Yeah, but guys, at the end of the day, we have to make sure that we are turning this into something that's productive and that will net yield enough money to afford to keep doing it. So that's why I want your opinion. Again, I appreciate all your comments. You like the new cuts. Great new format. I saw today's video and I enjoyed the format. What did you think of the video before that we did about Lexington, where we did it in that sort of same format? Did y'all see that video? Anyway, okay. So that's the kind of things that we're doing. But let me talk about Pearl. That's what you're really here for. It is Pearl anyway. So when we were in Lexington, Mississippi, which is a whole world of problems. And by the way, they're not firing that cop. They're going to retrain him, and they've reprimanded him. I've got the text. We'll do a follow-up video on what's going on in Lexington soon. I've heard from the Justice Department on that, so I'm pushing on that issue with the Justice Department. I'm going to be pushing on the Justice Department to get involved in this Pearl situation, because let me just tell you what happened on Pearl. Pearl didn't happen on accident. Well, I mean, I didn't mean to get arrested, but we didn't find ourselves in Pearl by happenstance. It wasn't this magic moment of we happened to run into a bad cop. We received repeated reports. I received repeated reports when people were responding to the first Lexington video about specifically Pearl, Mississippi. Thanks so much, Gone About Ya Deal, Going About Your Deal. I appreciate for becoming a level 1 supporter. Thanks everybody for any super chats you want to throw out. Again, $1,600 bond I had to come up with the other day, which I was not expecting to do, which sucked. And any little bit of help is always appreciated. But anyway, we didn't find ourselves in Pearl on happenstance. There was reports that there were all kinds of racial profiling and abuse going on in Pearl, Mississippi. I didn't really look into how bad it was. James Freeman wanted to go hit a bunch of places, so I'm looking at the cities and I go, okay, I know these cities all have issues. I've heard all these cities having issues, and so those are the ones we were going to. In Pearl, and heard about specific issues regarding police abuse and things like that, and so we went there. Now, for those of you who don't know the story, and we're going to put up the whole video, I was walking around separate from James and Sean, and I went over to the mayor's office, and I walked into the mayor's reception area, and the mayor's receptionist was there, and I asked her about an open records request stuff, and where do you go for that? And she said down the hall, and there was this room to the left that kind of looked like a boardroom and stuff. The door was open. I go through there, and then there's another door open, and it's the mayor's office. So I don't go in there. I stop at the daggum door. I realize it's the mayor's office, and I mean it's fully decked out and decorated. It's a beautiful office. I understand why he would keep his door open, because he'd want people to see the coolness of his office. I do the same. And so that's what she got offended about. She goes and gets the police chief of Pearl, Mississippi, who's been the police chief for a very short period of time. He became the police chief of Pearl, Mississippi in February of 2024. February of 2024. And I remember asking in the live, I remember when I was getting arrested, so I was about to go to the hospital, how long the guy had been the police chief. And somebody said for years. I don't remember exactly when it happened, but I asked the question because it didn't seem like the guy had a lot of experience. And they told me years. And I find out that he was hired February 21st, 2024, from the town of Richland, Mississippi. Now, let me just tell you about Richland, Mississippi. While he's police chief over in Richland, Mississippi, one of his officers gets arrested with 5 other cops as part of the Mississippi Goon Squad, where they go attack some African-American men and eviscerate one of them in the behind, utilizing a fake prophylactic device. How do you say that when YouTube can get away with it? Yeah. How do you say that a man did what he did in that situation and not get censored? I just described it as best I think you can. That was one of Chief Nick McLendon, who arrested me. It's officers, part of the Goon Squad, when Nick McLendon was the chief over in Richland, Mississippi. That's right. And shortly after Nick McLendon leaves Richland, Mississippi, one of his other officers gets caught on tape making racial slurs to some Hispanic people. Got that on video too. So that's Nick McLendon's former department, Richland. And oh wait, it gets better. It gets better because I go looking into Nick McLendon, Nick NICKMCLENDON. Put that in the comments. Nick NICKMCLENDON. Because I go looking. Look, folks, this is the research that I have on Mr. McLendon. I just want you to understand, if you're watching this is all the stuff that's going into your video, sir. That's all the stuff that's going into your video, sir. I mean, look, you can even slow it down and read it if you want to. This shows you everything. This is all the work that I've done on your video so far to lay out the formatting and to find all the cool stuff that's going to show you to be the psychopath that you are, sir. Nick McLendon, Pearl Police Department. We're watching you, bud. And I got a whole story. And look, scroll through it slow, because I got you nailed. And don't worry, you can't delete any of that stuff, because I already got it downloaded. I wouldn't show it to people if I didn't already have it downloaded. Lee's already got that downloaded. I sent it to him last night. I was up till 4 a.m. After I stopped working on the briefs and stuff for this. I spent about 6 hours yesterday doing research on you, Mr. McLendon. And oh my God, the treasure trove of things I found out. The guy who was part of the Goon Squad in Mississippi, and Google Goon Squad Mississippi, and one of the guys got 40 years. The guy that worked for McLendon in Richland got 10 years in federal prison for their civil rights violations of a couple African-American gentlemen. So that's Nick McLendon's former guy in Richland. And then again, one of his guys makes racial statements a couple months after he leaves. Got that on video too. But hang on. But hang on. Because I gotta thank Rogue Nation. Y'all know Rogue Nation, right? Shout out Rogue Nation. Woo! Rogue Nation. Rogue Nation. Rogue Nation. At Rogue Nation. Heart. Heart, Rogue Nation. Heart. Heart for Rogue Nation. Rogue Nation was the first YouTube channel to shout out one of Guerrilla Publishing's videos. Rogue Nation, we appreciated it greatly. I will never forget that. And I'm shouting you out now, bud. I greatly appreciate it. And I found several of your videos that featured Nick McLendon. So, Rogue Nation captured in previous encounters the same guy that arrested me for trespassing. And he runs and I've got campaign speeches, or not campaign speeches, but I've got like his hiring stuff where he talks about running. He runs a program called CPAP. Yeah, he's so freaking original. He can't come up with something other than an acronym that already exists for his constitutional policing and practices. Constitutional policing and practices, where he advocates for the police following constitutional rights. Well, Rogue Nation goes in filming in the Richland, Mississippi City Hall, and good old McLendon, who was a captain, I believe, at the time, rolls on in and utterly complains about Rogue Nation exercising his constitutional rights. And about how he thinks it's silly and stupid. But in these later videos, he's talking about how great they are and how important they are. And he also talks about the importance of protecting people's civil rights on traffic stops and those things. This was McLendon. I got video of this. So I go into research and research. And I find out that Nick McLendon, while working for the Richmond Police Department, Richland, Mississippi Police Department, was sued for racial profiling a man, an African-American gentleman who was traveling from one of the western states back to where he lived in South Carolina. And old McLendon, Nick McLendon in Richland, Mississippi, pulls him over, racial profiling, says some things about the fact that if you deny me access to search, it makes me think you're guilty. The judge writes a visceral Nick McLendon as a piece of garbage opinion, and then finds that he had to give him qualified immunity, and then says to the Supreme Court, hey, y'all should really do away with this qualified immunity BS, of which, we're also fighting for. But this judge destroyed this same Nick McLendon. Yep, gotcha, bud. Gotcha, Nick. Gotcha. By the way, the gentleman who got denied justice died recently. Sorry to hear that. I found his obituary. We're going to talk about that in this video. Nick, destroyed. So, it gets better, or worse. I guess for me, better. For him, worse. Because I got a video of one of his pro police officers on video calling a black arrestee a monkey. Yep. That's right, Nick McLendon. I have the video of your officer calling a black suspect a monkey. Why do I find that so interesting? Well, because when I went to court the next morning, after my wrongful arrest and after I got out of the hospital, where they stalked me for 2 days, I noticed the substantial racial disparity in that courtroom in Pearl, Mississippi. And I got video of Nick McLendon talking about how he's going to come up with creative ways to bring in more money. Well, they figured it out. Target the people of brown skin. That's what they figured out. Because me and Lee, no joke, I can't think of another single solitary white folk I saw in there. And Pearl, Mississippi is a white-ass town. In fact, let's look it up. Let's look it up. Pearl, Mississippi racial statistics. What do you think they are? I'm going to say 70% white. I'm going to say... oh my God! And I did not... I swear upon all things, I did not look this up. The AI overview says it's 69.8%. I thought that was about right. But at that courthouse, Me and Lee were the only white folks that were in that daggone room other than the people who were up front. And Nick McLendon was certainly there to make sure he saw me. And by the way, they were very pissed off that y'all been posting on their Facebook pages at the Pearl, Mississippi Police Department. But don't worry, you guys missed some of the other pages that they've got out there. So Pearl, Mississippi government, any of the pages that you wanted to comment on, just do think about that. But yeah, we've got him we've also got Nick talking about profiling, and I've got one of his officers saying, so I got one of his officers pulling over a black preacher in Pearl, Mississippi recently, and while his child is asleep in the back seat, demands the ability to search it. Why does he demand the ability to search the car? Because the gentleman, when he asked if he would voluntarily consent, said no. And according to the officer, you cannot make this up. I got it on video, found the video. The officer says, anytime somebody denies us the ability to search, it makes us think they're guilty of something, because otherwise, why wouldn't you just agree and say, I don't have anything to hide, let me search? That is Nick McLendon's department, folks. That's Nick McLendon's department. And we're going to expose it all in a video that Lee is working on, and we'll have out very, very soon. The Pearl, we're going to be doing a whole lot of research on Pearl. It's insane. Again, I was arrested for trespassing. After he told me that I had a right to be in the hallway where I was at, I did not go through a single locked door. I did not go past a single restricted access sign. And why I got arrested was I was trying to explain to him that he needs to put up some signs that say, if you don't want somebody to go in there, it's restricted access, authorized personnel only. That's what ticked him off. He goes and solicits a complaint. He says she's going to go over there and fill out the complaint. The receptionist for the mayor, I was in a public lobby of her public office. And the report is completely written by a cop because it's in cop lingo. We're going to expose all of that in the video. It's insane. This ain't going to be the last of it. And again, I'm already working with the Justice Department on Lexington, so Pearl, Mississippi. Welcome to the party, pal. Anybody know what movie that's from? Welcome to the party, pal. Come on, who can say what movie that's from? I'm just curious as to who will say it first. It's my favorite Christmas movie. It's my favorite Christmas movie. And yes, it is a Christmas movie. You don't win a prize for getting this right. I'm just curious to see if any of you know Welcome to the Party, pal. Is it the first one or the second one? It's so delayed on the comments. I don't know. I'm sitting here like an idiot waiting. Bruce Willis said it. Yep, that's absolutely correct. Die Hard. Did Hard, somebody said. Did Hard. Unqualified immunity said Did Hard. We'll give him credit for Did Hard, Die Hard. But that's one of my favorite Christmas movies. Home Alone is also one of my favorite Christmas movies. I'm a millennial, right? So, Home Alone, Home Alone 2, Home Alone 3, and anything after that, screw that. That sucks. Great Christmas movies. Die Hard 1, Die Hard 2, great Christmas movies. They stopped doing the Christmas thing after that, so they're not Christmas movies. Love Actually, a great Christmas movie that I watch every year. Let's see, what else do we watch every year? I like Family Man is a great Christmas movie. Christmas is coming up, so I guess it's okay to talk about that. Anyway, that's what we got going on, folks. Christmas Story. My gosh, you shoot your eye out. I had to have a Red Ryder BB gun because I wanted to go see about shooting somebody else's eye out. So Christmas Story was great. Yeah, Lee's saying that because I made him watch that religiously, growing up. I carried out the tradition that had been given me. Anyway, that's what's going on. That's why I've been radio silent. I've been working on a massive lawsuit against the Oklahoma Bar Association that I will be filing next week. I'd hoped to file it yesterday, which was my birthday, but it's substantial. And again, I'm calling it my magnum opus of a brief. My intention is to win, get my suspension lifted, do this to the Bar Association, win a lot of money for this violation of my civil rights in the interim suspension, get millions of dollars from them, and stop and never practice law. Gremlins, thank you for that. That was a great answer too. Gremlins, good job. That is definitely a Christmas movie. Definitely a Christmas movie. And I want a mogwai. Is it a mogwai? I think it is a mogwai. I want one of those suckers. Gizmo or any other of the mogwai would be fine. It does not need to be Gizmo per se. Gizmo can't seem to keep the water off of them, so maybe Gizmo should stay with the other mogwai and give me something that's a little more conscientious of the rules. If you've watched the movie. Anyway, I don't really have anything else, so I'm done rambling unless you got any questions or anything else. Again, thank you so much for watching the videos. Go back and check and watch those. Hey, for those of you who are not, do me a favor. First of all, there's 372 likes in this thing, 702 people in the room. Hit the like button. Go and subscribe to this channel. Most of you are not, a lot of you are not subscribed to this channel. About half of the people or more that watch our videos are not subscribed to the daggum channel. I'm trying to get to 100,000 because it puts us into this whole other Google YouTube algorithm thing that Lee talks about, that whatever. By the way, I didn't watch Elf until last year for Christmas. Never had watched it. Elf, I'm sorry. I like Will Ferrell a lot. I'd rather watch Fire and Ice Saga, Eurovision, which is hilarious, than Elf. But it was good. Maybe I needed to have seen it at the time. It didn't resonate maybe with me like it would have, say, if I'd watched it when it came out. Like Dazed and Confused. If I watched it now, I certainly wouldn't like it the same as I did when I saw it when I was in high school, and it really fit that time period. So anyway, Bad Santa's awesome. Yes, Bad Santa 2 is awesome. Human Centipede, I did not watch that. Anyway, y'all are awesome. Keep letting us know what you want, what stories you want. Hey, also, final thoughts, and I really will shut up. If you have a story in your town of corruption, here's how you get us to help. You send Lee at GorillaPCO.com an email with and indicate the willingness to help collect all the stories, put all the story together, help us get interviews, and do all those things that we're going to need to do, and tell us the facts. We don't have the time to research everybody's story. You got to come to us with the story. If you know of massive police corruption and those things, don't just send me the email. Send me links with stories to videos. Paint the story. Like make us do less work. I'd love to tell your stories. And I think I can do that in an interesting way, bringing in case law as we move forward. But that's what we need in order to help. I need more details, more information, and patience, because I keep getting arrested unexpectedly. Which, by the way, I'm totally overdoing. I'm so sick of getting arrested. It's ridiculous. I don't like getting arrested. I hate it. Despise it. I freaking absolutely cannot express how much I don't ever want to go to jail. I do not like my liberty being deprived. Not one little iota. No, I do not. I hate it. And so I got to figure out a way to stop getting arrested so freaking often, because I'm over it. Not over it enough to stop what I do, but over it enough to go, all right, we got to figure out a better way to assure that I don't get arrested. And part of that's going to be smacking some freaking people in the face. So yes, more lawsuits are coming. The first one, though, has to be the Bar Association one. And then I'm going to move to the guy who arrested me or detained me in Oklahoma City. And then I'm going after, there's so much stuff to do. I got a lot of stuff to do. So anyway, see y'all. Peace out. Somebody said jump over to Armed Fisherman. Don't know him, but go check him out, I guess. And tell him I sent